Tonight on RGB, we bring the Feather Awards under the spotlight.
With every award show, anything that certain people are not in control of, you won't make everyone happy. And that's the reality of it.
And I mean, unless you've sold your house like I did to make Feather survive, then we're not talking.
Well, if gossip was sunshine, RGB would be the shade that makes everything cool and enjoyable. Molweni Mzansi, nani lizwe jikelele ababukele kwi-internet, mna igama lam ndinguSamora wakwaMangesi.
Yazi bantu, shade can be a blessing or a curse. Iyadependa ke kodwa wena if you need a break from the heat, okanye if you're throwing shade to take the heat off of yourself. NdinguSinazi Ntombi yakwaYolwa. Now ke namhlanje ku-Real Goboza, it's going to be hotter than a busiswa vese xa kuthiwa gqom kuloo ndawo.
And October has already given us more excitement and drama than A, the time both your lovers met your real bae, B, the look on Thomas's face when Mom Lillian asked him if he plays his role in preventing breast cancer, and the moment you realize that you've won the Powerball and wakwazi uxelela usapho lwakho. Goboza unyamalala faster than color blocking and Casper's ponytail.
Now, along with being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, October is also National Marine Month, and the health of this precious resource ke bantu isezandleni zethu. Ndiyacela nirecyclishe iplastiki zenu zingayohlala phaa man elwandle, because it'll come back to your plate ngaphakathi kwe-fish and chips yakho.
Ningalibali ke bethu nokunakekela ne-products enizigungxulayo ethobhini. Everything ends up in the ocean, and it's our choices that put them there. Now, one thing that is never a choice is whether or not to attend the only awards show by and for the LGBTQI+ community, the Feather Awards.
And of course, as can be expected, kulo glamorous night, uzabaka more things going down than a booty during a Vosho competition.
And here to help us make sense of the necessity of the Feather Awards is the founder of the Decade Strong Awards and LGBTQI activist, Tammy, otherwise known as Tammy Dish, to tell us about the Feather Awards this year. Tammy, welcome to the show!
Hey! I'm coming to your set for the first time.
Oh,
really?
thanks, welcome,
Let me give you a hug.
Hi, darling.
How are you, my love?
Well.
I only come to the set like once a year.
Okay.
When you talk about everything else pink and fabulous.
Lovely, darling.
Now, Tammy, for people who don't know, what are the Feather Awards and what brought them about 10 years ago?
Wow, 10 years ago. It's 10 years.
10 years.
Right?
I know, right?
I know, yeah. Yeah. Well, Feathers are an award ceremony that celebrates people who empower LGBTI community. So it's literally a pat on the back to people who continue to support our community at large and making the world a better place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But other than the glitz and the glamour of the main event, there are other projects in his pushayo in order to reach out to the community in smaller areas.
Yeah, I mean, I think people make the mistake every year for the last 10 years of thinking that, you know, the only thing that ever exists is the awards themselves. And we go around, I mean, this entire thing takes an entire year to run, you know. At the beginning of the year, we start going to dialogues everywhere else in the country. We reach out to different NGOs. We reach out to people who are playing in our sector, who want to engage with us or who we want to bring onto different platforms to engage with the rest of communities. And we run these things properly until literally end of August or September, you know? And when we get to November and the Feathers, it's like, you know, it's just one night of fabulousness, great people, a room full of like lightheartedness and fabulousness, laughing out loud, looking back at the year that was, you know, and celebrating the year that we have actually put in a lot in terms of our efforts and making sure that the conversation continues.
Now, Tammy, I know that the dialogues have been happening all around South Africa. And when
You've been to one of them.
Have I?
Have you?
No, not yet.
You've never?
I've never been invited.
Okay.
Mamela, babes, let's go back to the glitz and glam of the actual event. I heard that there were 2 nominees who got disqualified.
Babes? To me? No. Personal trainer abs. No, Tabang. No, Lamang. By 2, but disqualify whenever replacer go ANC Bayo Dominic Kumalo as well as Bobby van Jaarsveld, respectively. Please tell us what happened there.
What an unfortunate situation, but it is a serious matter. I think a lot of people get away with offending a lot of people on social media platforms, and we don't say much, we don't speak much, and if we continue to allow that kind of bullying that happens in social media, we'll be, literally empowering such tweets to happen. I mean, these tweets happened in 2012 and 2015, but it kind of must show people that we don't forget. Black Twitter is gonna fetch you. And gay Twitter will fetch you too.
Yes!
Bezisithi eza tweets bantu.
They were like talking about parenting. I know Thami said something about I would never raise a gay child.
Because he doesn't have that gene.
It doesn't have, that child would never not have a home. And then there was another thing of, I hate being hit on by, Tabang said, I hate being hit on by gay people and gay, I'm all gay. It was just derogatory and it was insulting and we're intolerant of any kind of homophobia on any platform.
Okay, Tammy, there have been some concerns, if I can call it that, that the... Yes. that the feathers are not so much about the LGBTQI community. They're more about the celebrity factor of it. How do you tackle that?
I can't believe that we're still having this conversation 10 years later. And I always say to people that in year one and all the way through to now, I've always been clear that the industry that seems to be quite open to LGBTI humans is the entertainment industry. And all these years, what we've done is try to branch out into different industries. And we're winning at that. But the other thing is that, I always say that you can complain about how you're not serviced by a particular, award show or a particular presentation of anything. And you're more than welcome to do your own, This can't be the same conversation we're having 10 years later. The mistake we make as the LGBTI community is thinking that we own everything, all of us. And unless you've sold your house like I did to make Feathers survive, then we're not talking. Do you know what I mean?
Let's talk about you said the 15th of November.
Yeah.
Itini theme.
Well, we're celebrating Simon Goli this year. And we're literally reflecting on the past, but also claiming the future. I think now, it's become more important for us to channel the right energy to the new energy of LGBTIs. I think it's now become even more important for us to hand over to Generation Next to fight a different battle, because if we continue the way we are, we will not breed the Simon Golis of this world. It's 20 years. Simon Goli fought for a lot of things. We identify today because of people like Simon Goli, the peeps like, Phumi Mthethwa, who fought for our constitution.
RGB is nominated in Media of the Year category.
Yeah.
And if you want to go and vote, you can go to www.mamba.com, right?
MambaOnline.com.
And be sure to vote for us. But Thami, thank you very much for coming.
Yeah.
It's been great having you.
Thank you.
The conversation is going to continue, though. We've got other people who are going to be talking to us about the Feather Awards. And anyway, Kebetuna, the best way to form an opinion, kukumamela onke amaqala ale ngxoxo uzokwazi ukhetha about which version makes the most sense according to you.
Now here's the moment you might use to make that happen. Find out a little bit about what's on sale and specials as Real Goboza takes a commercial break.
Yeah, where?
Coming up, we find out what celebrities think of the Feather Awards, and then we continue our debate on the awards, their purpose and their future.
RGB. Now, the keys to success vary from person to person, but the one common trait is definitely passion. Take Dr. Matthew Knowles, who after 25 years has built a mega empire with Music World Entertainment, all the while contributing instrumentally to the successes of major stars, such as the multi-platinum selling group Destiny's Child, as well as his daughters, Beyonce and Solange Knowles. Dr. Knowles, thank you very much for joining us.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
You have been a part of so many successful artists. We mentioned Destiny's Child, Beyonce, Solange, but also Kelly and Michelle. What would you say is the key thing to building a successful artist?
So it's been a real honor. And what, again, all of these artists, successful, iconic artists have in common is that passion thing. Most people aren't aware, when Beyonce does a Grammy performance, for 3 minutes, she might have rehearsed for 3 months.
Wow.
And that's the type of commitment, that's the type of passion and perfection that these true icons have.
In South Africa at the moment, it is Pride Month, and we do know that both your daughters have a huge LGBTQIA following, not only here in South Africa, but all throughout the world. What is it that you would attribute to that following?
I think a lot of things. One is most people don't understand that Houston, Texas has the second largest LGBTQ community in the United States of America. As parents, we were always open to our kids not to judge people based on what they desire to befriend themselves and the friends that they have, but to judge them based on their personal character, not based on a community that they're involved with. And so we instill that in our kids. You know, look at people and judge them as people.
The passion that you have for the music and entertainment industry, first of all. Now, you left your job in sales and decided that you were going to help your children pursue their dreams. Was there passion behind that as well?
I had to find my passion, not my kids' passion, but my passion, which just fortunately overlapped with what Beyonce had just gone to Star Search and lost. But the first artist that I signed to a major record deal, most people aren't aware, is an artist named Lil O, and he's from Nigeria, a rapper. And his first single is Can't Stop, and it features this group called Destiny, which was the first name, one of the names of Destiny's Child. Before they became Destiny's Child, they were Destiny. It was interesting hearing you say the word passion, because in my first book that I wrote, The DNA of Achievers, 10 Traits of Highly Successful Professionals, the first trait is passion.
Passion.
Because that's that thing that excites you, gets you motivated, that wakes you up in the morning and go to bed at night and can't wait to the next morning. So you're absolutely correct that passion is the #1 key to success.
Now, Dr. Knowles, this is not the first time that you're in South Africa. We did see you in 2004 for the 46664 concert, and you are back for the African Leaders for Change Charity Awards, which happened on Wednesday. Could you tell us about the premise of the awards?
Well, it's to give recognition to Africans around the continent. Notice I said continent, not country, unlike our president at the U.S. But to give recognition and acknowledgement for their contributions and achievement.
The road to where you are now has not always been smooth. What would you say was probably your lowest point in your career?
Obviously, you didn't see my Wendy Williams interview. You don't want to go there with me, young man. I will eat you apart. You don't want to do that. But I can only tell you that I talk about in the DNA of Achievers, one of those 10 traits is learning from failure. Failure, making mistakes is an opportunity to grow, not a reason to quit. And most of us, when we make a mistake or fail in something, we're ready and easily ready to quit, rather than learn from it. So I've learned when I make mistakes. I've learned when I've had failures. And I challenge each and every one of your audience and your that's listening and watching right now is to challenge themselves not to be afraid of making mistakes and having failures. That's life. That's how we grow. You
also mentioned that you've written a couple of books. At the moment, you're sitting on 3.
Yes, I am.
Now, you're also launching your 3rd book, which is called The Emancipation of Slaves Through Music. You're launching that in South Africa. How do you think this book is going to be received, especially considering that correlation with the subject matter of the book?
You know, it's kind of putting out a new record. You never really know how it's going to be perceived or received. My hopes is that the research, which was tremendous amount of research that my students actually did some of the research, that's accurate. And that's more than anything, I wanted to just paint the true story of what happened when the slaves left Africa and took that 2-year journey to get to America. And they were from different tribes. And they didn't communicate. verbally. They use music as a way of communication. And it talks about during slavery, they use music to get through that day. When you're getting beaten, when you have this hardship, they use music to get through that day. So it talks about how music emancipated, but specifically with the slaves in slavery, how it emancipated and got them through the day.
Now, Dr. Knowles, Beyonce is going to be in South Africa for the Global Citizens Festival, which is happening on the 2nd of December. What can we expect from Beyonce?
Excellence. That's the one word I can tell you. Excellence. Whatever she does, she puts in the work. She gives you excellence every time.
Yes. Dr. Knowles, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for giving us your time and letting us in on what happens in the brain of such a powerful man like yourself, who has been behind, so many major artists that we have seen all throughout the world. Again, enjoy the rest of your time in South Africa, and we hope to see you again soon.
Thank you.
Ake bethuna nisibonela ngokwenu uDr. Matthew Knowles, umzali kaBeyonce noSolange, engingola nathi apha ku-RGB. I-RGB bethuna izabuya ngekudala.
After the break, we wrap up our panel discussion on the Feather Awards.
Just like Snazo's sultry voice just mentioned, your African gossip leader has returned to dish out more halalas and no nanas as manezi Puma Feather Awards every single year.
Yazi ke bantu ngamanye amaxesha, to get a clearer picture of what's really going on, kufuneka mani ukuthini utsala abanye abantu man. To get a different perspective is what I'm saying.
Now, since RGB is an expert in catching socialites socializing, we found out what shines and what ruffles feathers about the Feather Awards.
What do you think of the Feather Awards? I think they're exciting initiative for the LGBTQ community.
Feather rights, kona ngeke ngaya kanye ubhuti wami naye senominathiwe lapho. But right,
when it started out, it was a great concept. I'm not sure where we are right now, but when it started out, I understood what it stood for. I'm yet to find out where we are right now in terms of the feathers.
I think they're great. I think it's nice to have representation in all formats and all platforms in all little corners of society, no matter how niche your market may be.
It's a very good initiative to be able to celebrate the ambience and the characters and the life that our LGBT friends actually do share with us. So Feathers Awards, I'd like to be invited.
Goboza is proud to have in studio Sunday Sun entertainment editor responsible for more scandalous headlines, darling, than bad behavior, Lerato Matsoso, and our favorite entertainment commentator, Mphela. Lady, gentlemen, welcome. Thank you very much.
It's so great to have you. Phil, Feather Awards. Why do you think so many people are unhappy when it comes to the awards?
Because 10 years on, there's still a disconnect between the community that the award purports to support and, elevate. And, it makes no sense. Okay, let's just get down to it. It makes no sense. I also love you and I also love Tammy. Yeah. But it makes no sense that you've got straight people judging an award that is going to be given to other straight people, supposedly for gay people. Do you understand? You would never have that. You will never have men judge an award for women. It makes no sense. There would be an outcry. And for me, it's like 10 years on, there's still that disconnect where a lot of people feel like these awards are being made in their name, but they don't really represent them. And that is a fair criticism from my point of view.
Lerato, I'm sure you've heard some of the concern around the nominees.
I love how she put it. Concern.
But what are some of your thoughts on that, and why people are unhappy about that nominee list?
There are certain things that Tammy should do and the organization, because as a judge you can only do so much and suggest. And I mean, even with the nominees list this year, there is some form of transformation, I guess, in the sense that it's not just celebs, but there are regular people that are within the community that are doing good. Like the soccer player, I think he calls himself Elias Minaj. He's the first soccer player to openly come out that he is, gay, although he's not playing in the big leagues, but because of that, that sort of been a stumbling block for him, and he's nominated. And people like Fist Voices, I don't know his real name, but he's one of Tabiso, yes. He's one of those people that are active on social media and and that are always talking out about it. But look, there are things that really need to change, but then again, with every award show, anything that certain people are not in control of, you won't make everyone happy, and that's the reality of it. If you're saying that they're not doing that, or why? What are you saying to Tammy? What are you suggesting to him without fighting?
Many conversations has happened where, myself included, where I've actually used my platform when I used to be a blogger to talk about the nomination process of the feathers. Understand? I've met Tammy, we've had conversations, stuff like that. And what happened? Tammy decided to ban me from the feathers. You know what I mean? So now you can't say somebody's accessible when you tell him the views that you hold.
Okay, talk me through how you got banned.
I wrote an article, raising views, my personal views about the Feather Awards and what they represent. And one of the main things that I was complaining about was the fact that we need to make the judges' names public so that the gay community can know that these are the people who are, because I knew that a number of people within the judging panel were not even gay. Understand? And it did not make sense for me to have non-gay people nominating in the Feather Awards. Understand? So I wrote an article and I put that out there that this does not make sense. So if the process is fair, just make them public, make the names public. These are the people and we chose them because of this. Clearly, Tammy did not like that. The day before the awards, with a suit already, I got a phone call from Tammy and said, I don't think you should attend my awards.
All right, guys. So there was a tweet, I believe, by an activist. Itile tweet, the Feather Awards are a misogynistic festival where gay men celebrate their friendships with their celebrity friends, and it has nothing to do with the LGBTQIA community. Nithining is a statement. Lerato,
Bev shook the table with that tweet. I did not expect it.
Did she not break the entire table with all of that?
She's always that person that, always tweets and is not shy of saying whatever that she wants to say. But I feel like it's a bit harsh. I really feel like it's a bit harsh. And as a person that was a recipient, again, where you have access and communication to the founder, that was uncalled for. I feel it's a bit childish of her to do that. I understand why probably she's, she has her own, and I'm also, I have a different opinion or a view, but I feel like that was too much. So she's basically saying, I received an award, I don't want it anymore, I'm denouncing it. And I don't think that's, there's certain ways to go about certain things.
But it feels like we're celebrating allies more than actual people who are part of the LGBTQI community. Lerato, what do you say to that?
Yeah, I'm part of the allies, so you know what I mean. Allies are allies. You can't stand alone. We're a community, all of us.
The other problem is, what is an ally? Is somebody hiring makeup artists, gay makeup artists, an ally of the gay community? No. Do you understand? Do you know what I mean? Because believe you me, all the names on the category list, if you put them up there and say, okay, fine, gay people, tell us who's the best ally of the community right there, you'll get different views. Do you understand? Just because somebody has a huge gay following, does that make them an ally?
Sure.
What have they done to show that they actually care about the community?
Red carpet, ne?
That's my day.
Oh, wait, you're right, but you haven't been unbanned.
No, we are okay, but I'm still on the banned list.
So your sanctions have not yet been lifted?
No.
He's my date.
Our thoughts and prayers with you through this trying time. Again, thank you so much for coming through, guys. If you want to DM, are you going to forget a follow back? Are you going to get a response? Usamora Okona at Samora_Mangesi. Mna ndisego at Sinazoyolwa.
Ningalibali kabethu nufaka hashtag Goboza so that we don't ignore you like broke people ignore private numbers. Yo, why does this hit home? Because Papa Inbetuna, we'll see you next week.